My name is Rusty Redican. I work LAPD, West LA Division, and right now I'm assigned, well, I've been assigned probably for the past year or so, the Palisades and the beach area. So I'm glad Carlos came and spoke to it, and because what we're doing on the police side, we can't do without the task force, the business owners, the citizens. And look, I approach this from a very compassionate side. When I come in contact with these folks, again, we've got a lot of resources that we can offer them. If they're lucid, if they're not, either so intoxicated or under the influence or mentally ill, that I can have a conversation with them, I get down and I have a conversation with them about what we have and how we can get them off the street. So it's not like these folks are just dealing with the police and I'm coming at them from a law enforcement perspective that it's a zero tolerance letter of the law. We started off with the compassionate side. If they don't want that, if I think that they're blowing smoke at me, if it's somebody that I've dealt with in the past and I know that they're not getting the memo, then I go on to the letter of the law and I write it down for them. I ask them to press hard because there's 3 copies, and make sure that they understand that every single time they deal with me, if there's somebody that's causing problems for Carlos, our citizens, they're on the middle of the street causing traffic concerns and/or hazard. We've had some folks, as you know, recently that have been killed. One specifically at PCH in Sunset was a homeless gentleman. There are other things that were in play, and again, those are the types of things we're trying to mitigate. We don't want these people in a position where they're going to get hurt themselves, or they're intoxicated, they're going to hurt somebody else. So the vehicle code and the penal code, they're both very vast books, and there's a lot of things that you can use. Again, we use the spirit of the law most of the time with folks, but there's a lot of things that I can use to help them get the memo if they're not getting it. Pedestrian in the roadway. Okay, you've seen them down the Pacific Coast Highway in Sunset. They're in the middle of the sign. Okay, they can't be there. It's impeding traffic. It creates problems. Therefore, I can address it from a law enforcement perspective. This is what you're doing. This is what you need to stop doing. And if they say, well, I'm not going to stop doing it, and some of them will be very, very, upfront about it, then I'll let them know very good. Then I'm going to give you a little coupon so that you understand what you can and can't do. Some of the ones that are, closeted attorneys, I tell them very good. We're going to meet in court on this time, on this date, and we're going to cross swords there, and we'll discuss it at that point. But what we're trying to do is keep them out of the middle of the street, keep them to stop impeding traffic. And again, when a lot of these folks, what they're doing, especially at PCH and Sunset and Chautauqua, the Snopes article and some articles like that, you've got to consider that there's, geographically, some of those areas, they're probably doing other things to sustain themselves and feed themselves. Specifically, from what I've noticed, the time that I've been here, a lot of it is alcoholism and/or they're trying to get money for their narcotics addiction. So when we deal with those folks at, say, PCH and Sunset, specifically, unless somebody else is dealing with them in a different way, but I'm having conversations with these folks, and they're telling me, I'm going to go get some alcohol. Afterwards, I'm going to go buy some beer, some vodka. So I'm getting it straight from the horse's mouth. This is what I'm going to do with the money. Therefore, I'll have a conversation with them about, look, this is what we don't need. I don't want you wandering in the street, getting hit by a car. Now your life has changed. Somebody else's life has changed for the worst because now they feel bad that they've struck and killed somebody. So we kind of approach it from that angle. Again, going back to the vehicle code and the penal code, it is very vast. There are some very specific things that I use to keep them out of the street, and we've cited dozens of folks down at, specifically at PCH and Sunset. When it comes to some of the security folks that Carlos had alluded to, they're also a force multiplier for me as well. I get a lot of information from a lot of you. Some of you in here text me a lot of information with photographs and stuff like that, and it does not fall on deaf ears. It's appreciated because as soon as I come into work, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I hit the ground running. That goes for Palisades Drive and PCH and Sunset. Just to address what Patrick was talking about earlier, most situations across the city, most officers come in at a certain time. And a lot of these folks that are homeless, that are either alcoholics or they're just, they just checked out of society, they know what time our shift changes are. They're very, very adept at sort of maneuvering and doing what they're going to do when we have shift changes. Many of them have questioned whether I sleep or not. Mark and I are there at different times. Again, due to a lot of the work of the citizens up here, the captains that we have kind of taken a leap of faith and allow my partners and I to come in at different times. So what I do is, when many of you text me, I could be on a 2 or 3 day stint off. I look at the times of the traffic that you're texting to me, or some of the emails that I get from Patrick and the gang, and I adjust my hours, and we come in very, very early to address the concerns. That, I'm sure some of you will see, and I'll wrap this up. Some of you have seen there's been a drastic change in how many people are out and about. And that's largely due to, again, not just myself, we might be the teeth, but a lot of it is to do with a lot of the information I get that specifically guides me in a way that I'm able to address your concerns. At the end of this, if you guys want, I'll address the situation up there on Via de la Paz that happened the other night, and also the accident at Chautauqua and Sunset. I'll give you kind of a down and dirty what I have there, but just know that a lot of the stuff that we're doing with respect to the panhandling, with respect to the laws, is we address it from the side with the task force. If it's somebody that I've seen and I've already warned, yeah, we're not having another conversation about it. They're getting cited and they're going to move along. And although I'm a nice guy, I try to do the right thing for most of these folks. They get it. It's ask, tell, make. So I'm going to make them get out of the road, and they're going to be on their way. So, any questions? Well, I guess we'll tighten it up at the end. But thank you very much.